Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Delia and this is Marissa, and we're teachers and tutors here at the LSAT Demon. Marissa, do you want to read us our question today?
Yeah, for sure. So we got a question via the ask button about negation test, and it reads, "Hi, I was taught from another LSAT prep course to use the negation test when reading through answer choices for necessary assumption questions for logical reasoning. The negation test is when you negate the answer choice, and if that negation subsequently disproves the author's argument, it is the correct answer. Do you approve of this strategy?" Do we, Julia?
So I've gotten this question from students a ton, and while I don't think it's a completely useless strategy, I've seen students be able to use it and it click for them and they can use it efficiently and be quick. However, I think for most students, it tends to just confuse them and make these questions a lot harder than they actually are. And I honestly think strategies like these can actually make people scared of necessary assumption questions. I feel like I get a lot of students coming to me and being like, I think necessary assumption questions are really hard and here's why. And then I find out that they're using the negation test to go through every single answer choice and be like, not this, not this, not this, and then see what it does to the argument. When in reality, I think the simplest way, and I think the way that we tend to try to encourage students to approach necessary assumption questions at the Demon is just to ask yourself, does the author have to agree with this question for their argument to work? Or for this answer choice for their argument to work? Does the author have to agree with this or else their argument doesn't make sense? I think that's the simplest and most intuitive way to approach these questions. And it's often quicker than like going through each answer choice and being like, I'm going to negate this one, this one, this one, this one. And I think students just get confused. But do you have any thoughts, Marissa?
I mean, yeah, I love what you said about it being intuitive. Like, I think that that is a lot of what we try to encourage students to do. And I think that like trusting yourself and trusting the way that your brain works goes a long way. Like, not only on this test, but just like, your academic life and stuff like that. Like, you don't think that way. So you shouldn't try to force yourself to think that way. If there's a way to understand it intuitively, like you said, like, does the author have to agree with this? Like, you are going into your answer choices, you're reading them through, you find the one that you're like, yeah, I think the author has to agree with this one. Can you then negate that one? Sure. Like, do I think that it is a waste of time to walk through and negate every single one every single time? Also, yes.
Right.
So I think that, yeah, like just a little bit of trust in yourself and a little bit of trust in the way that you actually understand things goes a long way on this test.
I agree. And approaching it that way, approaching it, asking yourself, does the author have to agree with this? It makes it a simple yes or no. And we're all about simplicity, right? Yes or no, the author does have to agree with this, or they don't. And then you move on. And then you find the one that the author has to agree with, and then you're done. Like it's quite literally that simple. And I think strategies like these just make necessary assumption questions harder than they actually need to be and take away from that just like intuitiveness. And I like what you said about trusting yourself. Like just read it. Like I know we say that all the time, but just read it and read the questions. Does it make sense? Does it not? And I know that might be easier said than done, but I think once you practice trusting yourself and thinking of these questions in an intuitive way, then it'll start to click for you.
And I
Do you
think
have
like
any?
necessary questions do make people uncomfortable sometimes, right? Because sometimes they seem very obvious. So I think that that's just another invitation. I guess I was just thinking about necessary assumption questions in general beyond the negation test. I think that is just an invitation to slow yourself down and to think about the leaps that your brain is making and acknowledging that your brain had to do those things for this to make sense, right? So like it might seem like, oh, well, I can't choose that because I'm pretty sure they said that, or I can't choose that because it seems so obvious. But a lot of the time, that's exactly what you're looking for, right? So like again, just not overcomplicating these questions. They're not anything to be afraid of. Just like trust in yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. I get students ask me all the time, like, oh, this answer choice seemed too easy. Like, I just didn't think that it was it because it was too easy. And I'm like, there's no such thing as too easy on the LSAT. You want it to be easy. Trust yourself. Like, I think that is kind of the motto for this episode. I like that. I like the trust yourself. You're smart. Trust yourself. If it seems easy, it's probably because it isn't. It's probably because it's the right answer. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. Email Delia@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thank you for listening.